So we have moved towards Caldera Lake, and you can see the way these forest woods are being burned to make a buffer zone so that in case natural fire takes place, they can have access in the whole forest.
I've never
You can
been on this
see
road.
the snow-covered mountain peak of Valley.
There is more than one entrance.
So
we've always done the south entrance, which of course we're going to pass. So this thing over here is something to mark.
it's a sort of a thing. This is the Valley.
So that's cool. This is something that's cool. I mean, I forgot what it's called. It's on the
That looks like something official.
So much of snow. Yay!
No, this is the rim of the Caldera.
Oh,
On the opposite side
Did you
is
take a
Mount
photo?
Scott.
you will not get this.
Okay,
Sorry, it's
great.
so hot.
Michael, we are up in the snow. And we just had the first view of the lake.
It's amazing.
We might have to
There's so many snow peaks
play the
all
snow
over.
or something, Stuart. Wow. Oh my gosh.
Oh, and the snow.
I
Beautiful.
wanted to walk, talk, but once you can get through, this is
So
this is
beautiful.
their rim trail.
Oh, wow. It's amazing.
Oh, straight ahead.
Yeah, going to Crater Lake. It's all snow covered at many places. Amazing.
Watchman Overlook.
Washburn Overlook.
Whoop.
See, there's so
We will come
many.
back to all of these
Tourists.
spots on
Yes.
the bus ride.
Wow, many
Exactly.
tourists.
And I think you're smart getting to where
Let's
we need to
park first.
be because
Get a
there
snack.
are a lot of
It's so beautiful.
overlooks.
Mm.
Oh my gosh. Michael gives you his best. And he can't wait to meet you. And he's getting results from different tests. And
Okay.
next week. And I'll tell you about it later. But it's
Perfect temperature, 68 degrees outside.
Oh.
Thank you.
It's amazing. Wow, what a valley. Deep valley. We're on the mountain peak.
as we're traveling around and about the lake, we're going to go all the way out to a place called Skell Head and turn around and come back to Rim Village from that point. Since there's only 11 of us on the trolley today, we'll be able to spend a couple of extra minutes at each stop. Should be pretty nice. In the tour time today, if there's any time that any of you have any questions at all, please raise your hand and or come up to me during the trolley stops. And I'm happy to either address your question right away, or I'm going to take out my notebook and write down a little note to myself about your questions so that I can share it with everyone else on the trolley. So I'm planning on discussing many. I wanted to go back a little bit to the human history subject matter. And the Klamath people who witnessed this eruption event many thousands of years ago had to contend with the Western settlers of the 19th century who came over here on the Oregon Trail. And by that time, before statehood of the 1840s or so, when more and more Westerners were coming here to the territory of Oregon, the Klamath people kept this place a secret. They did not tell anyone about the existence of this place. So it wasn't until due to what he saw here at this viewpoint here. This is the Wizard Island overlook, a sweeping view of the lake. You'll see the 1932 fire tower at the top of the mountain peak up there. Can you see the 1932 fire tower up there? I'm not going to talk about it right now, but it plays an important role in our discussion about ecology, and about an hour from now when we discuss ecology on this tour. This spot right here is called the Watchman Overlook, and it is an incredibly popular spot for sunset photographs. So if you're looking for a sunset photograph opportunity, stop at this place called the Watchman Overlook. As the sun sets behind you and your camera, you still get a great view of the lake so that the sun does not wash out your pictures of the lake. And that you get a great view of the alpenglow on the east rim of the Caldera. The moonrise this evening will be about 11 p.m. So if you want to see the moon reflect in the lake, come back at about 11. When he declared this one of the most beautiful sights he had ever seen in his whole life, and he called this place Lake Majesty. So on our next stop up ahead, we're going to stop at the Devil's Backbone up next. Yet another enticing and unusual name for a place. A particular man read about Crater Lake in a newspaper in his local community. And after reading about this place, as the story goes, William Steele, today considered the founder of Crater Lake National Park, devoted the rest of his life to trying to convince Congress that this place deserves '85, and that's when he devoted his life towards conserving this place in the most natural condition as possible. William Steele, in his time, wrote over 1,000 letters in 1 year to Congress people, civic leaders, governors, and anyone who would listen to him about telling people about how makes this place so special. It's William Steele who lended a lot of the intriguing names of these places that we're visiting today. Places like Wizard Island, the Phantom Ship, the Devil's Backbone, Lau Rock, and Skell Head. Many names for unusual, intriguing places. Steele named Wizard Island perhaps after the shape of a wizard's hat. Or some people think that it might have been part of the pop culture of the time. For a very famous book at the turn of the 20th century was published. The book was called The Wizard of Oz. Today, made into a famous movie. But back in 1900, it was a famous book of the time, talking about wizards and warlocks, right around the same time that Wizard Island got its name. Yet another enticing place is the Devil's Backbone. Let's check out the Devil's Backbone here at this viewpoint. Place, a precipitating place. This last winter, Crater Lake received only 37 feet of snow. And I say only, of rain and snow into the lake year after year after year. And in our Grew Blue Fell-filled story, it took, scientists think it took about 7 or 8 centuries only to fill Crater Lake to the level that we see it today. So less than 1,000 years, or less than a
Pull away.
Grab your last photos and make sure everyone's seated.
Sure. Let's see it. Thank you for doing that.
That's neat. Very cool.
Jenny and her son have hiked down that.
Yeah, we did that. It was great.
Yeah. So
I believe it.
we know it's doable.
Yep.
But
The kids were over there, they were swimming and jumping off. We saw the people fishing, and some guys were so amazing.
Now, Cleveland Cove Trail, very popular for a good reason.
It's worth it, yeah.
It's definitely worth seeing and experiencing as much of the park as you can, including this trail if it's within your capability.
Yeah, the great
Oh my God.
the lake
But it's also
is
important to
so
remind
beautiful.
Oh yeah.
that you have to hike back up.
This is not just for the safety of people, but the safety of the lake as well. So there are certain restrictions to protect the lake. For example, recreational boating is not permitted on Crater Lake, so you may not bring a kayak or a river raft down to Crater Lake, and we are concerned about that because those boats, those personal watercraft, are used on other bodies of water, and we're concerned about transmitting microorganisms into the lake that may not belong there. The most dangerous one to Crater Lake by far is the New Zealand zebra mussel. It's a exotic, small-shelled Ashland by rail car, and from there by horse and wagon up to the rim of the caldera, and assembled in 2 pieces to float on Crater Lake for the next 3 decades. So from 1890 until about 1920, the Cleetwood boat served as the 6-man rowboat to do science around the lake. And when those scientists came to the northeast section of the lake, the area that we're at right now, they discovered their deepest sounding of nearly 2. With that tremendous amount of snow I talked about earlier, there's a little bit of a raise up in the level of the lake. And then by September, there's always what I would call a bathtub ring around Crater Lake, or kind of sound from the American pikas. Down at lower elevations, it's not unusual to spot black bears here at Crater Lake National Park. Scientists love to study the wildlife in lower forested locations because they know that's where a lot of wildlife concentrates because of all the traffic, the road traffic up here at high elevations. And so wildlife biologists will intentionally set up remote cameras in the forest at certain locations where there are known wildlife corridors, or where animals tend to traverse across. In those camera locations, the scientists will also set up small barbs and hooks along a baited tree location with the intention of not trapping the animal, but with the intention of grabbing some of the very quickly out there. Yeah.
So like those few trees that are there, you know what they are? Because they were few and far between when we were driving through.
It's most likely mountain hemlock trees.
Yeah, well now that I know what a hemlock is supposed to look like.
Most likely. Look for that drooping top on is the key. The key to look for those.
All right, good deal.
So if you didn't get a chance to see that fire tower, this is your last chance. We're passing by it now. It's on the other side of the trolley over here. But you might be able to glance up there and catch a quick glance of it up there.
I saw it the first time.
Yeah.
Do they still use it?
Today, it is no longer used by